So we're gonna run it. All right, welcome back, guys. This is Darreck Kirby, joined again by my Mavs insider for DallasProspect.com, Enyi and Nduka.
What's up, y'all?
So we got some interesting news to talk today with a little bit of Mavs development. It's been a little while since we've done a show. We've had the lottery, what do you call it, drawing, essentially?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, the lottery order drawing and everything this past week. Obviously, that didn't quite go as the Mavs hoped and planned it would, being the third best odds for the #1 pick. But, you know, that happens. So we'll talk that, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the prospects that might be there for Dallas at, well, I don't,
5.
I was trying to avoid actually saying the number when I realized I teased ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been a week.
Yeah, it's good point. Good point. It's been a week, so they probably know now.
Yeah.
And if not, then I'm surprised they're even watching the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll talk about
what are your thoughts on
my thoughts on Dallas being the 5?
Number 5.
Number 5. It's disappointing for sure. I at least wanted, a top 3, but at the same time, there are enough. The draft's not as deep as last year, I feel, but it is deep enough that you can get a couple different guys at 5 that I think would help you. So it's not the home run I wanted, but it's still a solid base hit. And when you're rebuilding and as early in rebuilding as we are, sometimes a solid base hit is good enough. Just keep moving in the right direction.
I agree. So, as for people who are late to the show, who hasn't been living under a rock and haven't really kept up with the basketball, yes, the Mavs are picking at 5, and really judging from my initial reactions that I've been seeing from fellow MFFLs on my Twitters, a lot of them were fairly, like, they thought basically that this year was a waste. And I think as the Mav Nation, we have to admit that this is not a territory that we're used to, especially if you're my age. My age, I really didn't start watching the Mavericks till about 2001. That was when they started making their come up. We already had Dirk for some years.
We already got some nice activity going here.
Yeah, nice.
Shout out Virginia's finest, Cowboys X Factor.
What up? Who's
same? It's just same two guys. Nice. Salute. Calling.
Yeah, so close.
Calling me out by my cowboy nickname, DDP.
That's funny. So yeah,
Cowboy X Factor's happy to see a Mavs video. We're a little overdue, I admit.
So yeah, so we didn't get the top 3 pick, but at the same time, I don't view it as this season being a waste.
Yeah.
This team. All right. So actually, if you didn't know, the Mavericks actually broke a record this year. Funny enough, it is a negative record, but not necessarily.
I was gonna say it can't be anything too positive.
It is not. It's not positive, but it's not super negative.
Okay.
So the Mavs actually broke the record of most losses by 7 points or under this year.
Okay.
You realize that? We played a lot of close games. We played a lot of close games with not a lot of talent, which means we have a damn good coach, and Coach Carlisle. So if we would have tried, I mean, literally, we were throwing out lineups with, D or G leaguers, and we were still staying in games. So yeah, this wasn't what we wanted. It was the number 5 pick. I mean, I was actually ecstatic that we got the 5th pick. But anyway, that's besides me.
Ecstatic that we weren't as low as 7. That was the lowest we could have been.
No, the lowest we could have been is 6 because we won the.
That makes me feel even worse.
But still,
that's telling me we got the second worst outcome instead of the third worst.
Well, it was actually the percentage wise, it was actually the highest outcome. Okay. It was like 29% chance of being the number 5 pick, 14% chance. If you would have if top 3, if you would have lumped all those picks together, then yeah, the top 3 wouldn't have been the highest chance. But
yeah,
individually speaking, the 5th pick was pretty high up there.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't view this season as a loss. I didn't really view this number 5 pick as a loss. Yes, the draft is not as deep as it was last year. We probably won't find a Dennis Smith Jr. at the number 9th pick. But here's a good thing, Mavs fans. We're not picking 9th. We're picking 5th. We have a slew of players that we can pick from this year that can definitely help out this team. And if you're thinking about it the way I'm thinking about it, I'm actually liking this pick a lot better than if we would have had the number 3 pick. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
Yep.
I don't know that I share in that one. So the thing I can say regarding the record you mentioned, the most losses by 7 points or fewer, that's encouraging for a young team. And Dallas is a young team in spite of having a 40-year-old Dirk Nowitzki.
Yep.
But at the same time, that shows growth. I mean, I know we bring up oftentimes I'll have some Thunder parallel because that's my other team. But that first year when they came to OKC, they were like 23-win team, something abysmal like that.
It was actually 23 wins.
Yeah, and it was a horrible season for them. But what was encouraging was how many close games they ended up having, and that actually was a good growing lesson. Because the worst thing, it's one thing to lose. You don't want to be like the Suns out there and getting just waxed every night, losing by 40, 30, whatever. You want to actually be competitive. That's the best thing to do, is be competitive and lose close games, because it helps you for the draft pick stock, but at the same time, you're still learning and growing as a player.
Here's to go along with that Thunder parallel.
Okay.
So the Mavs won like, what, 25 games this year or something like that, 24, 25,
something
like that.
To that effect, yeah.
Thunder won 23. Played a lot of close games. We played a lot of close games. How did the Thunder do the year after that?
Thunder won 50 games the next year and were the 8th seed.
And lost to the Lakers.
I remember and that 6.
Game.
Yep.
And then the year after that, how did they do?
Western Conference Finals, lost to the Mavericks.
Boom. And then the year after that?
Year after that, they went to the finals.
So,
but the Thunder also, throughout that whole thing, had 2 up-and-coming superstars. And then brought in James Harden and had Serge Ibaka.
And then we have one. I believe we have potentially one up.
I was going to say, don't go crowning Dennis Smith.
On,
I
man.
like Dennis Smith too, but don't go crowning him a superstar.
You know, he was first team all real rookie NBA team.
No,
yeah.
Mitchell.
He was.
Wait, Mitchell's a shooting guard, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so
check out what I said.
Yeah, you said real rookie. So who was the first team point guard?
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. Okay. I didn't even know he was a point guard, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he played so many minutes at the point guard, that might as well.
Okay.
That's what it screwed over Dennis. So Dennis Smith got second team all NBA rookie, or it's all rookie teams.
That's a good topic too. Cowboys X Factor, the free agent talking with targets for like Cousins and things like that.
Yeah,
we can touch on that too. Yeah. I mean, we're mainly talking draft, but we can definitely touch on that. That is a recent story that came out.
Mavericks targeting potentially again. DeAndre Jordan after what happened in 15. But anyway, we're not going to go into that right now.
Not right this minute, at least.
The scars are still fresh. No, it's fine. I'm over it. If they want him, if at a good price, I'll take him. I'm definitely not paying him.
I don't think you're getting a good price though.
If he tries to get max,
I don't know that he'll get max, but he's not coming here on any cheap deal.
Well, something reasonable. But anyway, so yeah,
tell you this, they get a verbal commit. Mark Cuban's gonna lock him in his house himself.
no Mavs fan at all. Like we're gonna see that tweet that DeAndre Jordan verbally commits to the Mavs, and was like,
yep.
I don't believe it.
No.
I ain't saying nothing until I see a picture of him signing the contract.
I could see him signing the contract and then still having second thoughts and like dropping it in a shredder or something.
before he's like,
didn't submit it to the league. It doesn't count.
Unfreaking believable, that guy. Anyway, so yeah, definitely.
So Dennis Smith should have been all rookie first team.
I really feel like he should have been.
Okay.
And
he had a solid season for a young
really
point guard.
Yeah,
point guard's an incredibly difficult position to come in and perform with.
So
he had a triple double, right?
He had one triple double.
I think I recall that he did record a triple double.
Yeah, one. Well, yeah,
it was 1 or 2.
1 or 2. Yeah, 2 at the most. 1 for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was. First team was Donovan Mitchell. The other guy I just totally forgot his name. The Sixers guy.
Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons. Golly, just saw his name. And then Lauri Markkanen, Laker guy.
You talking about Ball?
No.
Oh, Kuzma?
Heck yeah. Kuzma. Not Ball. Ball's trash. Anyway, and then also...
I almost said Kuzco. And for his new groove.
Was that 4? Was that 4 I listed? And Jason Tatum.
Yeah, Tatum.
Because that man can ball. Jason Tatum can freaking ball. So he well deserved. How I felt like it should have went was Dennis Smith 1, Donovan Mitchell 2, Ben Simmons 3. I guess your other forward can be Jason Tatum.
And Markkanen still.
And then, Markkanen or Kuzma.
Yeah, probably Kuzma and then Markkanen.
Yeah, actually,
Markkanen,
if he would have made second team.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess that's just my Maverick bias. But, Dennis still made second team along with Lonzo Ball, OG Anunoby from the Raptors, and some other guys we don't care about. To be honest with you.
So let's talk about some of those guys that might be there at 5 for Dallas.
So if anyone follows my Twitter, we're going to keep this podcast short today. We just kind of wanted to update you guys on what's going on. If you guys didn't know. But myself, I kind of have a different philosophy for what I believe the Mavs are at right now and how I want them to build their team in the future. If you look at a lot of mock drafts, a lot of them have, the Mavs drafting Bamba. I see some, very little with Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yep. Bagley.
That's if Mo Bamba gets drafted 3.
Yeah.
Then that's how we end up with Jaren Jackson. We're seeing a lot of. I've seen, I think 1 with Bagley.
Yeah.
And I mean, my boy Isaac Harris from he does the Locked On Mavericks podcast every day, which is tough to do. He talks about the Mavericks every day.
That's tough.
That's tough, yeah. But he did his little personal mock with Nick Angstead, and he had Mavericks drafting Bagley at the 5.
Okay.
So not bad. But if you guys follow me on Twitter. And I'm not on Twitter a lot, but I was.
This is where you plug your handle.
I know. The funny thing is,
you're out of practice.
I don't know my handle by heart. So, my follow me on Twitter, Enyi Nduka, Enyi, last name Nduka _DP for Dallas Prospect. I went into a little bit of my top 5 prospects that I want the Dallas realistic prospects. So I don't have.
The guys you think could be there at 5 for the Mavericks,
basically.
And how you would rank them.
So I don't have Bagley on there because I honestly, in my view, I don't think Bagley goes past number 4.
That sounds about right.
If he doesn't get drafted by Atlanta, Grizzlies will freaking pick him up with the quickness. In my eyes, because they'll just be dumb. And then also I don't have Ayton on there because I don't think he's even going past 2.
Yeah, I think Ayton's borderline top. I mean, when I say borderline, as in like no way he falls past this 3.
Yeah.
I think he's top 3.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario would be 3.
Definitely be 3 for.
I would love to have him, but yeah, that's why I said I wanted a top 3. I wanted to have to decide between the guy we really want and Ayton, potentially Ayton, if he fell anywhere we were in the top 3.
Okay, so I don't have them. I have Doncic in there only because of the recent reports that are on there. By the way, shout out to Luka Doncic, youngest player to ever win the EuroLeague MVP.
19, right?
Yep, 19 years old. He's doing it out there or wherever they play the EuroLeague. Probably somewhere.
Real Madrid is who he plays for.
Yeah, they probably play it somewhere in Europe because it's EuroLeague. Get it? I was trying to be funny. Anyway, yeah, man. I'm seeing a lot
I award you no points.
Anyway, but yeah, so I have him on there only because there was reports saying that Sacramento was probably looking to draft a big. I'm hearing that multiple teams were considering passing on Luka, so I kind of put him on there just as a fun thing because my philosophy on them, I think he's going to be a great player, but I have my thoughts on Luka.
Yeah, he could work well within Carlisle's system.
Yeah.
Certainly, he's an intelligent player, good playmaker, can knock down some shots as well.
Mm-hmm.
I like what I see, but I understand that there are other guys that are higher ceiling, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And because of how early in the rebuild we are, I think it's all right to take one of those swing for the fence moments.
And you know what? I'm just going completely, not completely, but I'm going to differ from what I tweeted. So I'm going to actually start out with my number 5.
The Twitter is officially non-canon.
So my number 5 prospect that I want the Dallas Mavericks to draft, if he's available at the 5 spot, will be the man himself, Luka Doncic.
Okay.
Don't kill me. Don't shoot the messenger. This is all about the philosophy. So here's my reasoning why I would rather have 4 other people than Luka Doncic. Because I want to also maximize the Dennis Smith pick from last year.
Okay.
If we pick Luka Doncic, he will also be a guy that needs the ball.
Yeah.
Not as much as Dennis Smith,
but he'll still need the ball.
But he will still need the ball
to
make
Smith.
I don't view Luka as someone who's just going to be a spot up, shoot the threes like Wes Matthews was this year.
Yeah,
that's not
Calderon.
Yeah, that's not his game. His game is actually closer to a LeBron James type play make, not size wise, not athleticism wise, but how he plays the ball, which is he's a guy that he can drive. And if he can find his players, very cerebral like LeBron is. He's actually pretty strong with the ball. He's very savvy. Knows how to draw fouls a lot. He's been playing professional basketball since the age of 15.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of upside to that. However, I think he's going to be a good player. He's going to be, ceiling. I don't want to say all NBA, but he's going to be that type of player that we'll probably view as he might not be on an all NBA team, or if he is, it'd be like an all third team, and we're going to think that he's gotten snubbed or something like that. But for the case of I want also, because I love Dennis Smith, I love what he did with the team, I want to also see him maximize as well.
Yeah.
Because if Luka is making plays, Dennis is not very awesome off the ball. So if Luka is making plays, that means Dennis Smith is his, I guess his, I don't want to say his value is coming down, but his
production,
it could possibly go down. So that's my reasoning.
Usage rate.
Yeah, I mean, he have a really high usage rate, but that's what I want because he's a young point guard.
Young point guard on a crap team.
Yep. Oh man, gosh, man.
Yeah.
We haven't
nothing but the raw and
we
real
haven't
here.
we haven't been real like that since the 90s. So
yeah.
I mean, we're here, guys. This is it. The lottery.
We got spoiled from 2000 to 2011.
We
you
really
could
have.
Sort of argue we had a couple more years of at least borderline relevance.
It was like how many years? 11
straight 50 win.
50 win, yeah.
How about the Spurs? They didn't have that streak snapped until this year. They went like 18 or 19, something crazy.
So if you think we're spoiled, you should see some of them Spurs fans like that.
Yeah,
they're like,
of course, they have multiple titles to show for their business.
Exactly, and they're probably still thinking the Spurs are playing like some of the fair weather ones.
I find it funny the Spurs fans that were in a hissy fit this year, like, you've had enough. The 1% over here.
Yeah, exactly. What more do you want anyway? But
I can't afford a 6th vacation home.
So that type. So anyway, so that's my number 5. I do think he's going to be a good player, but as well to fit, and he will fit well, and he will probably play very well with the Mavericks, especially with being coached by one of the top 3 coaches in the NBA, which is the man Ricky Carlisle.
Ricky C,
baby. So I have my number 4, which I literally just switched these two. My number 4 guy that I would like for the Mavs to pick up, which this would be by most mock standards, which would be a reach, but here's how I look at the Mavs, and this is why I was telling Darreck before we started recording. The Mavs to me are a big lump of just clay, and we have the ability to shape that clay to however we want.
Okay.
Whatever piece of art we can
I know
build.
what you're saying.
Yeah. So for people who are like, oh, this guy would be a fit here, would be a fit.
Yeah.
He's a better fit. It's like, no one's necessarily a better fit unless they don't jive well with Dennis. Dennis is the one thing that we have. I'm not even counting Harrison Barnes as much as I like the dude. I do feel like once his contract is up, he might not be here.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
Unless they've really got something going, yeah. Guys don't have loyalty anymore.
Exactly.
If you're not...
And I don't
sometimes you can sway him with the money.
I feel like he would want to stay, but I feel like the Mavs would want to draft him. I don't know. Maybe. Because he doesn't strike me as a dude that is all about the money, even though... Because I don't think he would have been one of the guys to never leave Golden State unless they happen to get a guy like Kevin Durant to come to the team.
Yeah.
And he was the odd man out. And so Dallas offered him the max, and he might as well take it. So my number 4 guy that I have is Mikkel Bridges from Villanova.
So I see projections with him around 10.
10, which would be nasty because you know who's picking 10?
Off the top of my head,
76ers.
Oh,
that would
the process.
Be freaking nasty. I actually would. I would love to see him play for the Sixers. But I'll also.
I remember Mikkel Bridges from that Final Four game with OU. That was not fun.
Yeah,
that was one of the more painful games to be an OU fan, even though it's OU basketball, which I don't even care about.
Yeah,
most years I'm like, oh, we have a basketball team again. They're playing this year.
I didn't think we had one since Blake Griffin.
And even before that, it was. I mean, you had like Hollis Price one year that went to the Final Four,
I don't even know who that is.
There was one year they should have won it, and that was like '88. They were like the 1 seed. Beat Kansas, beat Kansas twice, and then faced them again in the title game and lost.
That's, it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah,
especially a team probably as good as Kansas. Anyway, so yeah, I have Mikkel Bridges on there. He's your. I don't want to say your typical D&3, which I don't even believe is a stigma anymore. It used to be a stigma, but I think is a very valuable asset to have on your team.
Mm-hmm.
The way I view Mikkel Bridges is someone, he might not have the highest ceiling, but he has a super high floor. And any team in that top 10, and actually, there will be teams...
His floor is most guys' ceiling?
No, I wouldn't say that. Or second round, maybe. But I'm talking about... In terms of like the teams that he can come in and contribute to a winning basketball year 1, he's that type of guy. He's the type of dude that if you're a Boston Celtics, he'll be playing today against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he'll be producing. He's that type of guy. He's not that type of guy that you might need a stash. He might need to have some time in the G League, or. You might need to log off some minutes or whatever because, you need to give him time to develop or whatever. We're not trying to throw too much at him now. He's the type of dude that's going to come in year 1 and he's going to do work. He's going to shut guys down. And he's also going to get buckets from the outside. And he also might put some people on a poster like he did during the March Madness. So, one of the guys, I listen to almost daily when I'm doing my job is I listen to Locked On Mavs. And I've always thought about this when I was watching Mikkel in the tournament. I was like, you know what? If the Mavs fell, this is before the lottery, so I was like, if the Mavs fell to like 7 or 8, and we pick up Mikkel Bridges, I'd be totally fine with that. Because you can never have too many wings in this league.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he'll be a dude that Dennis, he wouldn't hurt Dennis's progression. Because he'll be a dude that'll be able to spot up and hit a 3. He shot 43% last year. So that's the type of stat that translates to the professional game.
Sure.
And then,
so he's basically, we were saying, like a younger Wes Matthews pre-Achilles tear. Yeah. And obviously a rookie deal, not with max money.
Yeah, with the ceiling of someone like a Trevor Ariza type dude. Which is I like that comparison a lot. Young Trevor Ariza who shouldn't have been the 2009 Finals MVP with the Lakers, but they gave it to Kobe because it's Kobe's sake. Because Trevor Ariza was making like game-winning type plays.
Sure.
But anyway, that's the type of guy that Mikkel Bridges can be. Also, another comp I heard for him, which is actually not a lot of people are saying it. I'm not really hearing too much comps for him, but it's someone like a Klay Thompson. He might not be able to create a shot.
I was going to say, I don't know about that.
He might be able to create a shot at the level of a Klay Thompson, but the fact that we're able, if he's on the team, the way we can use him is he's going to be the dude that's guarding the threat on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be guarding the James Hardens. He's going to be guarding the Damian Lillards, and we can definitely have Dennis, not waste his energy guarding those type of guys, we can have them just like we had Wesley Matthews, but it would be a younger Wesley Matthews. It would be a 22-year-old Wesley Matthews instead of a 31-year-old Wesley Matthews after Achilles injury. So I'm totally down with drafting Mikkel Bridges if that's the case.
So we got him 4. So what are we looking at 3?
All right. So this is where we get to the nitty gritty. My number 3 prospect I would like to master draft is Marvin Bagley III.
Okay.
Boom. So all year I've been pretty much, I don't want to say down on Marvin Bagley, but I was not
pumping the brakes.
Yeah, I was not as high because if you look at Marvin Bagley and look at a lot of the scouts, what they say about him is they say he's an athletic freak.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, great. And the way he scored a lot of his points, majority of his points in college basketball was just out athletic freaking the dude who's guarding him, which is cool. But I went to UNT, what year did I go to UNT? 2014, 15. We had a guy named Tony Mitchell. Yeah. That guy was an athletic freak. He was supposed to go in the lottery. And he ended up getting drafted to the NBA. And what did he do? Now, I'm not saying Marvin Bagley's Tony Mitchell. Marvin Bagley's 100 times more skilled than Tony Mitchell was. But I'm going to need more, especially in the game, in the NBA game. To be an athlete isn't enough anymore. It's not. So that's why I have a couple people higher than him, because I know he was a 2010 guy. He averaged 21 points, 11 rebounds at Duke with other top level type players on there. I mean, they have like 4 or 5 people who are in the draft right now, and he was up there with them as the top player in the freaking country. So it's not like he was just on a crappy team and he had to do everything, but he was on a good team and he was leading them. But I heard a guy who watches pretty much college basketball religiously. He actually compared him to a rich man's Dwight Powell.
What is that even? What is a rich man's Dwight Powell?
What is Dwight?
Because Dwight Powell's not a rich man. Dwight Powell is a poor man's something.
Yeah. What is Dwight Powell? Dwight Powell's a guy who he gets most of his bucket. Yeah, he gets most of his buckets from lobs.
He would have had my old nickname, Custodian. Why did I think that was a good nickname?
You're talking middle school
basketball. 7th grade. That just popped into my head.
Yeah, dude. But no, I mean, he's something. Of course. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that Marvin Bagley is going to be, trash or he's going to be a bust or anything like that. I mean, if he was going to be a bust, I wouldn't have him top 3 players I want the master draft. But I feel like he'll take a little bit more time to develop than I'm trying to formulate my words, but he'll take a little bit more time. Sure. He had the ability to stretch the floor a little bit.
We've got time. It's not like we're in win now mode.
I actually kind of.
We're in win 30 games mode right now.
At least get 30, 35. So I mean, I wouldn't be. Okay, so when I say I wouldn't be mad, initially I would be mad if we picked him up with other players still on the board that I would like more. But he and another guy that is still on this list will be a type of person that I can easily talk myself into. And then he can actually...
It's the other most likely name coming up, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's what Cowboys X Factor is saying. Mm-hmm. He's already called it and predicted.
He did?
He's predicting your last 2, but I think that's fairly straightforward.
If you go to my freaking Twitter, you're going to know who number 1 is. Well, he's probably not on my Twitter.
I don't know about that, but I was just saying, like, the reports in recent days are around 2 names. So obviously we have some combination of those 2.
Yeah, I mean, he lacks a lot defense.
For Bagley, yes.
For Bagley. I mean, he played a 2-3 zone the whole year.
Yeah.
Which... I mean, that's his coach who's calling it. But if you have players that can guard or do one-on-one, why are you playing 2-3 zone?
Right. Defensively very raw, but that's the case with a lot of college players. Yeah. You're only there 1 year for most kids. You don't really have time to learn fundamentals. and you were probably an athletic freak in high school anyway, so
Probably,
you didn't have to worry about fundamentals.
Exactly. So, I mean, I have it number 3. I'll still be happy after probably an hour or two of initially being kind of pissed off. But he will be a good player. I can see him ceiling-wise being a multiple-time All-Star, probably averaging 20-10 in the league.
Okay.
But I like some other guys better. So
let's move to that number 2 now.
Number 2.
This is probably the name I most have seen tied to Dallas, but it's not the more recent developing name that we're seeing or the guy that we want most.
Yeah, so if you looked at mocks and stuff like that, you definitely have seen this guy come up and be connected to the Mavs. He's also talked about how he's the perfect big for Dennis Smith. And that guy is Mohamed Bamba out of Texas. 7 feet, 7'10" wingspan, fairly mobile big guy. Rudy Gobert with the jumper is his comp.
Okay.
I mean,
he's freakish wingspan.
Freakish.
Yeah, freakish.
He's
7'3" with a 7'10" wingspan or something crazy?
He's actually like 7 foot with a 7'10" wingspan.
Oh, okay.
So, the minute he logs a minute in the NBA, he will have the longest reach.
Yeah.
And wingspan of any player. I think his standing reach is like 9 feet, 9.75 or something like that. He's dang near touching the rim, standing flat-footed.
Yep.
Elite defender or rim protector.
So you were saying Rudy Gobert. What about like a Nerlens Noel?
Okay,
a local guy whose Mavericks career did not go as we hoped, but at least it ended on a high note, to borrow from Tim McMahon.
Okay, I get it. Because I was about to charge you up. I'm like, high note? What the? He was suspended his last couple of games. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's funny. Now that I think about it, I do remember Timmy Mack saying that. Yeah. Mohamed Bamba, dude. I mean, when I say this guy, he blocks shots.
Yep.
He swats it, and he with the 7'10" wingspan, he'd be able. The rule of verticality would be like his most punishing weapon. Like no one is gonna ever no one's ever gonna take an uncontested layup with him just being around. And what's cool about him?
Can he avoid foul trouble is a question though, because you see that a lot with big guys. Yeah. They don't have the body agility or the footwork or the body control to avoid those
and he
actually
actually has pretty good body control, especially being for his size.
Yeah.
And I
always look at like one of the best shot blockers. He's declining now, obviously, but like one of the better shot blockers in the last decade was Serge Ibaka, who's only like 6'9", 6'10", but fantastic timing and reach and all of that. So
yeah, you got super long arms.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're 7'10", you don't need it as much. Yeah. But you still got to worry about body control to that degree.
And what's good about having such a long wingspan too is that someone has described it as the great forgiver, basically. Like if you can't, like if you're worried about him being switched on to a guard, a guard's gonna need more than a step to get past him to avoid getting blocked by him. They're gonna need about 3 steps. To completely completely destroy him. And beat him to the basket, because he won't need to recover because he has his reach.
Right.
He can block shots at an easier rate. Once he develops his shot, he'll be able to shoot over defenders at a more even taller.
For the Nerlens comp, I hope he develops more of an offensive game.
In which he already has He's already more offensively developed than Nerlens Noel is today.
Good.
Nerlens offensively is just a catch.
Yeah.
And
pretty much catch a dunk.
Yeah, just a lob diver.
Put back at the rim.
Yeah, exactly. So Mohamed Bamba's that plus more already day one. So and he's about as big as I think Nerlens was when he first came in, or something like that. I mean, he went to he got weighed in like at 225, something like that.
It's not bad.
That's
usually one of the other problems too, is that they're a beanpole or something.
But at the same time, if you look at him, he looks like someone that's going to fill out. He's only 19 years old. Yeah. Of course, he's going to look like a freaking twig.
Sure.
Especially that tall with such a long wingspan. He's going to look like a twig. but he actually looks like he can fill out as well. I know he's not DeAndre Ayton, who's just that's a grown man.
Yeah.
By the way, did you hear about that dude who was 25 years old playing high school basketball
in Texas? I saw the headline. I didn't read it.
I feel like that's DeAndre Ayton.
As long as his body holds up better than Greg Oden.
Yeah, Greg Oden was like a 40-year-old playing college basketball.
Jeez. Oh, all right, so getting to the number one.
I have to.
The little drum roll for you.
Oh, it's not a drum. If you follow my Twitter, my name is Nduka. Hashtag NPJ to Dallas, because I feel like if we want two things, this is one. If you want to expedite the rebuilding process, I'm not saying MPJ is a key or Michael Porter Jr. is a key, but his type of player is what the great teams or like a lot of the top players in the league right now. Who are they? They're wings.
Yeah, specifically the three.
At the three. And
they are
the
guys
best
that
ones,
are minimum 6'8" generally,
minimum
with long wingspans.
But the ones who are putting 20, like super mid to high 20 points a game, are your basically if they're playing in another era, they'd be playing at the 4 position, but they're playing threes. They're guys that have guard level ability, but have to just so happen to be 7 foot.
Yeah,
you're Kevin Durant to Giannis's. Michael Porter, he got tested, and his height with shoes on is 6'10" and like 6'10" 3/4 basically.
Okay.
So he's closer to 6'11" than he is to 6'10".
Okay.
Couple that with his shot making ability,
athleticism.
We have God Sham God, so we can work on his dribbling, and with that kind of scoring ability comes playmaking, because once people start keying on you, it'll be a lot easier to get other people going once he sees double teams. I mean, this is the type of dude that can come in day one. Not really day one, sorry about that, because he has...
Yeah, I was going to say day one.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that in a sec. A guy who can come in...
Day one.
I was just going to say, we've been talking about this. He's a guy that you compare with Dennis Smith, and basically you can have your own version, a little bit more modern version of Westbrook and Durant.
And what would be cool about that? So imagine, because some people, even though I think this is like a little, should pump the brakes, but the comp for Michael Porter is Kevin Durant.
Yep.
And last year we were seeing a lot of the comp for Dennis Smith was Russell Westbrook. So imagine, as a Mavs fan, we have Russell KD 2.0. But here's the fun part. We have Rick Carlisle coaching them.
Yep. You don't have Scotty Brooks or Billy Donovan.
Yeah, whatever. I was about to say Donovan Mitchell.
I would have taken that, honestly.
You could probably coach Ben.
Player coach, give it to me. Give them the two they always needed but never had. Except for Harden.
They did have two. Yeah. They had Victor Oladipo. He just didn't realize how good he was yet.
Well, Durant was gone before Depot came in. No. Same offseason.
Yeah.
They had Harden. That was where they goofed.
That was what... I mean, they kept Serge.
Well, not to revisit all that. Michael Porter, so with him, as I was saying earlier, we're talking about a situation where we're so early in the rebuild. You already have kind of one of the main cornerstones, possibly even the face of the franchise right now with Dennis Smith Jr. So with a guy like Michael Porter, I feel like you're early enough in that even though he's coming off of a back injury, had back surgery.
Here in Dallas, by the way.
Yeah, missed pretty much a full year. He played a little bit.
He played 2 games, which I didn't put any stock into those 2 games.
And that's immense rust, if nothing else.
Yeah, and people who did, like, chill out.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it at all. We're talking about a guy that, at his athletic peak and everything, is as good as any player probably in this draft, just about. And because you're so early in the rebuild, I feel like you can afford to swing for the fences. So go ahead. Hell, I've seen people mentioning this, and I agree with it. If you can take him at 5 and then just let him, like, if medically he needs it to just continue rehabbing for even like a whole nother year, let's say they barely play him next year. All right, they're a lottery team again. Now we have another foundational piece we can add, assuming he progresses like it's believed he will, and that he can become that player. Then you're looking at a situation where you have Russ, KD, both 2.0, and you're adding another lottery pick.
Probably another James Harden.
That's what I was going to say. Is that's what happened with OKC.
We have a lot of twos coming out next year.
Ibaka wasn't a lottery pick. I believe he was first round, though. I think he was like 17, 18, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But point is, if you get 3 lottery picks in a row like that and you can hit on them, then you really have something. Because one superstar, you're not going to do much of anything.
If you can't build around that one superstar, he's gone.
Yeah. I mean, Mavericks got away with it with Dirk, but it's they weren't. You couldn't do that anymore. I don't think. You got away with it with Dirk in 2011. You got your title.
Yep.
Can't do that anymore with the way superstar teams are built.
Nope.
If you got 2, you can be very competitive. You might even be able to get it to work.
If you can get it to gel and get the right pieces around
OKC was damn close with just 2.
Yeah.
And if you get 3, or as Golden State has shown 4, then
you're in the running.
I hesitate to say 4 for Golden State. I don't consider Green a superstar.
No, he's definitely he's a high level role
player. A big 4 nonetheless is what I was more so trying to drive at.
He plays so well and he means so much to the team that you have to consider him a part of the big category.
Yeah,
but I don't think he does that if he's on any other team. Honestly,
I think to answer your question, Cowboy X Factor, I think Porter very well could fall to 5 because of the back. We've only seen 2 games out of him in a year since he had back surgery. As Enyi mentioned, the surgery was done here locally, so we know we have a little bit more info on it, a little more insight. We, as in the franchise, not us personally.
Bro, if we had like Mark, got you, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, so just like I said,
I think he could very well be there. In fact, I would say there's a fairly good chance he's there.
Yeah, the main threat to getting Michael Porter will be the Grizzlies.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say right before us. At 4. The Grizzlies are the big threat. I think if he slides past Memphis, Dallas will take him. That's my gut.
And another big threat is the Clippers. Okay. Now, the reason why the Clippers are such a big threat is because they have the 12th and 13th pick.
They should just take... Oh, no, they just signed that point guard from EuroLeague last year, right?
Yeah.
I don't even try to say it.
Touch-a-weenie.
Touch-a-weenie?
Touch-a-weenie. I don't know, bro. I'm African. I'm not European. Anyway, yeah. So we're hearing a lot of reports that Memphis is probably the likely team in the top 5 to trade down. I mean, of course, they probably are in run the ball back type mode because they lost Mike Conley last year. They lost, Marc Gasol.
Gasol's like 35 now.
Yeah,
right? I mean, he's not elite anymore. He should have gotten out while he could. Man.
But they still have a roster that if you can put the right pieces around with
Porter makes a lot of sense for them too. Because
it's scary.
Think about Parsons, dude.
And
they wasted $94 million on that broke ass. They're going to be like, you're telling me I can get a guy that's already better and a rookie with a higher ceiling? Shit, Memphis might be the legit threat. The more I think about that, the more, that is a huge threat.
I feel like my hope is that Bagley is available. My hope is that Atlanta is dumb and they draft Jaren Jackson Jr. at number 3. Not that I don't think he's going to be a good player. I think he's going to be a good player. But I think Bagley will be far superior than Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson's young. I don't want to say he hardly played, but compared to the people who actually played the whole season, he played like what? I forgot. But like 20-something minutes a game.
Something to that effect, yeah.
Yeah. And then he had a lot of issues with fouling, getting in foul trouble and stuff like that. Very raw. His shot, he needs to tweak it. It looks... gross. Just to be real, it looks pretty gross. And I think, of course he's a good shot blocker, but he just needs to work on getting out of foul trouble. I guess I could say he's an honorable mention. If like everyone is off the board, I'm like, F it, let's freaking get or trade down, screw it, and get other assets. But if we draft Jaren Jackson. It's going to take a whole lot of YouTube and other things to get me get excited. Yeah.
Okay.
Based on what we could have had.
So So that's the 5 guys that we think.
I kind of want to get him more into Michael Porter though, because I feel like we're wrapping up, and I was like, I gotta get him more.
Well, all right.
I gotta
go into that, but we gotta hit the wrap up here soon.
Okay, cool. So the other angle, as we were talking before, is like I said, to expedite. I think I said this before, but I didn't really flesh out my whole thought. But to expedite the whole rebuilding process, right, is if you have 2 guys. So Dennis Smith already is I don't want to say well respected, but people know him and people like his game.
He's a flashy guy, and he's getting attention to Dallas.
Exactly.
I think I know where you're going.
Exactly. I think Michael Porter can be that type of guy too.
Yeah.
Now, there's one thing the Mavericks have never had.
If he's playing.
If he's playing.
year one, he's not going to be drawing much attention.
Probably. You never know. With that being said, Michael Porter, he's that type of player that people, the fan base, NBA fans in general, he has that type of game that people are drawn to. Yeah. He has that type of game that other NBA players would be drawn to. Sure. So, one thing that the Mavericks have never had, I love Dirk. Love him to death. My favorite athlete ever. Yeah. He wasn't a marketable player. Right. In Germany, I'm sure he was a hell of a marketable player. That was like the Michael Jordan of Germany. But over here, he's not a marketable player. Like, you have to really know, like, even players. Like, we've seen it before. We saw all this time that we were trying to get the big fish in free agency. We saw a lot of people spurn the Mavericks because they were enticed by other players from other teams. We saw it with James Harden. Not James Harden. We saw it with Dwight Howard. He went to the Rockets because they had James Harden. Yep. We saw it with Darren Williams, who at the time, Darren Williams was probably the top 5 point guards in the game. Yep. He elected to stay in Brooklyn because Brooklyn just traded for Joe Johnson. Yep. Joe Johnson was a pretty good player, but when he was at his best, he was more marketable than Dirk Nowitzki. Sure. As stupid as that is, but we have to be real. Dirk Nowitzki has not been a marketable player for us. Only Dallas loves him.
He has a very European game.
He has a very European game.
Not the same level of like sexy.
That's why we know. Even when Dirk was at the top of his game, I remember having this conversation when I was in college. We'll have these hypotheticals. It's like if you're down by 2 points, or if you're down by 1 point, you got 5 seconds left. Who you giving the ball to? And you can't have Kobe. And people were saying dumb stuff like, "Oh, I'd rather have Carmelo" and stuff. I'm like, "Are you drunk? Yeah. You have Dirk Nowitzki, who you don't need him to create and do ISO and stuff like that. Yeah. Just get him down low, have his man pinned down, and he's got it. Right. At that time, he was virtually unstoppable.
Right, but still wasn't a free agent draw.
Yeah, he wasn't. We lost on so many players because of that.
That combination of Dennis Smith and Porter Jr., both junior, well, that'll be some kind of nickname for the
junior
pair.
Brothers or something. I don't know. Yeah, we have to work on that.
We got to find something different than bros. That's so played out. We had OKC had their Stash Bros. Golden State had the Splash Bros.
Who's the Stash Bros?
Cantor and Adams.
Oh my god!
They both rocked ridiculous mustaches though.
Freak out of here.
Adams can do whatever he wants as far as I'm concerned.
You said he came in. He looked so young when he first came in. Now he looks like the freaking Aquaman.
And he's all we got left to show of the Harden deal. But it's not a bad piece.
He's not a bad piece.
One of the better centers now.
Yeah.
But so we'll see how it plays out.
I'm very excited. I know next year we'll probably be back here again. We probably won't be as high as 5. We'll probably be somewhere 10, 12, maybe 13. Who knows? If we're lucky, we'll be right there and battling for the 8th seed, and we might lose out and be the 14th pick.
If you're getting Porter, I think you're definitely a lottery again.
We're definitely,
because I think you're going to have to give him most of the year to continue regrouping and rehabbing.
But I feel like the ceiling is so high. If
I
were to rank the draft in order of ceiling, he will be up there for number 1.
Yeah, I'd say him and yep, that was what I was going to say. Ayton and him, yep.
Luka, if we were ranking him floor, definitely Luka would be up there, but
yeah,
and Luka, Mikkel, Bridges, but we're not really drafting based on floor because we're not going to be winning next year, and
right.
The Warriors don't look like they're holding or breaking up anytime soon. More of them are still taking pay cuts to stay together, so
right.
That ship is still going to be going strong next year, so I don't want to be that guy, but I mean, if we're not, there's no real point to go for the gold. That's why I'm a little hold up. Like, honestly, for this free agent class, if we don't pick up anybody, I'm completely fine with that. Honestly, I feel like we need to do this slow. We need to do this right. And if we try too hard and we get the wrong person in the mix, it could hurt us in the long term by hurting the progression of our young players. That's why they say they want to get a Boogie Cousins. Yes, I know he's a good player, and he probably won't want to come here anyway.
I don't see any draw for him, given his age.
Yeah,
and especially coming off this injury,
Achilles, yeah.
He's gonna want to go to an immediate contender, or he's gonna want to stay where he is because him and Anthony Davis were very good together.
Mm-hmm. And
Davis elevated to a new level without him. So then I guess they have that decision to make: is it better to try and build with just what you got and build around him from the money you save from not re-signing Boogie? Or do you keep the superstar front court together and just hope that with more time you can eventually flesh out something else around them? Yeah. I don't know. That's their problem to figure out.
Yeah,
but
we ain't gotta
Boogie to Dallas doesn't make much sense to me. I would like it in the sense of it would make them more competitive immediately, but I don't think Boogie. I think for how far they still are from having a contender, even though Boogie's a big step forward, you don't get as many steps with him as part of the puzzle. If that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, exactly. So, if we're judging it based on wins, like we won 25 games this year, if you add Boogie Cousins plus the top 5 pick, we're probably looking at, 40?
Take a page from OKC. Adding big names does not necessarily make you better.
Exactly.
They were 1 game better in the regular season than last year by adding Paul George and Carmelo, and 1 game better in the postseason.
But if you add in Rick Carlisle, that might help.
If OKC had Rick Carlisle, they would be already holding the championship.
They would be playing today.
Durant would still be there if they had Rick Carlisle.
That is very true. But anyway, so let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Final thing I was going to say real quick, addressing the other free agent talk guy. DeAndre Jordan.
Heck no.
No, moving on.
Bruh.
No, thank you.
We ain't want you here, bruh.
There's no forgiveness
We ain't want you here, bruh.
No forgiveness.
Hey, you know what, John Jay can come here. You can come on. You know what? You can go ahead and play. Nah, bruh. We nigged. Get out of here.
You're gonna say not? What is this? The '90s? You're pulling the knot.
Hey man, I'm a '90s kid, baby. Remember we nigga on this dude. Who else?
There was one more name.
Laker guy from Plano. Julius Randle.
Oh, Randle. Yes. Give me Randle. Give me Randle.
Yeah, give me Randle.
I want Randle. If you go get a top tier, I say top tier. I would consider him a big ad. So by that extent, for the Mavericks, I would call him that.
And plus, he's young too.
Yes, I want Julius Randle. I was writing back in January on the website about how much I wanted them to go make a move for him. They didn't, but we
didn't lose any assets.
Yes, and as we discussed, we can get him this summer now, free and not having to give up any assets. So. Yep. Yes, if you're going to go get a free agent, go get Julius Randle. That is a fantastic pairing with Dennis Smith and builds you for the future.
For anyone who knows, we're choosing 33 as well, not 34. So we moved up in the second round. So that's good. Dante DiVincenzo from Villanova.
Yeah.
If he's there at 34.
Was that the sleeper guy that I told you about the other day?
Was it? I don't know.
I feel like it is. I don't recall. But I saw it in passing. I can't take too much credit.
If he's available at 33, Cuban, I will slap in your face if you don't draft that. And with that, we're out.
All right. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Peace out.